At 3:17 Universal Time Coordinated, every telescope on Earth caught the same impossible thing. The stars blinked. For exactly 2 seconds, the entire night sky dimmed as if someone had flipped a cosmic switch. Streetlights flickered. Satellites hiccuped. Even the moonlight faded. Then, just as suddenly, everything returned, except 3 of the world's most expensive orbital observatories, which vanished without a trace. Dr. Mateo Alvarez stood on the roof of the Santiago Astrophysics Center, still in his pajamas. Staring up, that, he murmured, was not an eclipse. From across the calm line, a sleepy voice replied, "Mateo, if this is about your insomnia again, I swear. I'm looking at a gravitational lens signature that shouldn't exist. Something massive just arrived." There was silence. Then the same voice, Amina Sow, director of the Earth Defense Coalition's Orbital Division, answered softly, "How massive?" He hesitated, fleet-sized. By morning, the internet had done what it always did. Memes, conspiracy theories, amateur footage of the blink stitched into viral compilations. Hashtags bloomed. Hashtag Sky Blinked. Hashtag Alien Tuesday. And most persistently, hashtag Welcome ET. Someone remixed the distortion frequencies into a dance track. Governments, meanwhile, were less amused. Radar data confirmed hundreds of unidentified objects in high orbit. Every major nation scrambled jets, pointed telescopes, and argued about who was in charge. Within hours, the UN established an emergency body, the Earth Defense Coalition, or EDC, and appointed Commander Amina Sow to lead the response. Amina entered the command deck like gravity itself bent around her. Tall, composed, her dark hair pulled into a sharp braid, she radiated the kind of calm that made others feel foolish for panicking. "Status?" she asked. "Global communications stable," said Dr. Ravi Chin, hunched over a console, 3 coffee cups deep. "And by stable, I mean the system's on fire, but still technically broadcasting. So, Tuesday." Amina allowed a brief smile. "Any word from the objects?" Ravi tapped a holographic screen. "They're arranged in formation. Perfect symmetry. No radio chatter. No visible weapons. But," he swiped again, "they're absorbing solar radiation like it's fuel. Not orbiting." Amina noted, "Waiting." "Maybe they're shy," Ravi said, "or charging up the world's biggest flashlight." Across the room, Lieutenant Zoe Vega snorted. She was leaning against the wall in her flight suit, chewing gum like it owed her money. "But it's aliens." Every pilot group chats, placing bets. "My money's on squid-shaped overlords. 10-to-1 odds." Amina sighed. "We'll refrain from gambling on first contact." "Hey, morale matters," Zoe said, grinning. "Also, if I win, I'm buying us real coffee instead of Ravi's engine coolant." "I heard that," Ravi muttered. Hours later, the waiting ended. Without warning, every communications satellite went silent. The blackout lasted 7 seconds. When the signal returned, a new transmission hijacked every screen on Earth, phones, billboards, even smart fridges. A shape filled the broadcast, a being of crystalline geometry, refracting light into impossible colors. Its voice resonated like a chorus of bells, warped through translation software. "We are the Varn Dominion. This system lies within our reclaimed territory. You will cease electromagnetic emissions and prepare for assimilation." The world collectively stopped breathing. The voice continued. "Your species exhibits emergent cognition, but lacks regulated hierarchy. You are inefficient. Surrender planetary resources for optimization, and your kind will be preserved as biological assets." Someone somewhere whispered, "They're calling us livestock." Ravi frowned at the translation logs. Actually, the term they use is closer to presentient bipeds. He paused. "That's worse." The internet exploded within minutes. Memes of the crystalline Karen demanding planetary returns spread faster than any official response. A comedian tweeted, "Alien showed up, called us stupid, and left. Just like my ex." It would have been funny if it weren't terrifying. In the EDC command center, Amina studied the alien image on the screen. "We'll attempt communication." Dr. Alvarez, Mateo appeared via hololink, still unshaven, eyes bright. I've analyzed their energy signatures. They're using quantum entanglement pulses for data exchange, faster than light but fragile. If we respond too strongly, we'll break the channel. Meaning we get one clear message before they hang up. Amina turned to Ravi. Prep a signal relay. Zoe, you'll command a transmission ship. We're sending a response. Zoe raised an eyebrow. We're sending a what now? A message, Amina said, from humanity. Ravi groaned. Let me guess. We're using the old ISS Endeavour 2, the ship that fails a diagnostic if you sneeze near it. Correct. Amina said, it's the only one with manual override controls. No chance of them hijacking the system. Zoe laughed, low and dangerous. Old school. I like it. The launch was broadcast globally. As the Endeavour 2 lifted from the Cape, people watched from rooftops, beaches, and phone screens. For once, the world was united, not by fear but by curiosity. Mateo's voice came through the comms. Transmission ready. Remember, clarity matters. No jokes, no sarcasm. Zoe saluted lazily. Guess I'll just mime. Ravi rolled his eyes, tightening a coolant line. If this thing leaks mid-flight, we'll mime our way into orbit forever. Amina's voice cut through their banner. Team, focus. We represent 8 billion souls. Let's make sure we do them justice. The ship broke through atmosphere, and Earth curved below, a swirl of blue and white. Zoe's breath caught. Beautiful, isn't it? Almost worth the invasion. In orbit, the alien fleet awaited like a wall of glass. Each vessel glimmered with refracted sunlight, silent and enormous. The humans opened their transmission channel. Amina spoke steadily. To the representatives of the Varn Dominion, this is Captain Amina Soul of Earth. We recognize your presence. We request peaceful dialogue. A long pause. Then, the alien voice replied, Your defiance is noted. Negotiation irrelevant. Biological assets will comply. Ravi muttered, I'm taking that as a no. The Varn ship shifted, energy reading spiking. Zoe's fingers flew over controls. Commander? They're charging weapons. Evasive pattern Delta. Amina ordered. A beam of light lanced toward them. The Endeavour 2 jolted violently as shields failed. Panels blew out. Alarm screamed. Ravi shouted over the chaos. Reactor offline. We're dead in the water. Not yet. Amina said, reroute auxiliary power manually. You mean the power couplings we don't have? Zoe smirked despite the danger. Then build some. Ravi blinked, then grabbed a coil of wire, a coffee pot, and a plasma torch. You people are insane. Adaptable. Amina corrected. Minutes later, the improvised fix held long enough for Zoe to dive the ship into Earth's upper atmosphere. The alien beam missed by meters. As they streaked toward the Pacific, Amina opened a comm line to all frequencies. This is Earth, she said, voice steady despite the shaking hull. We are not surrendering. We are not livestock. We are humanity, and we will endure. The signal cut as they plunged into the ocean. The world watched the feed go dark. Then, slowly, humanity began to move. Engineers repurposed satellites. Hackers dissected alien signals. Artists drew banners reading still here. The aliens had come to judge them, to conquer them. The Endeavour 2 surfaced 3 hours after impact, smoke curling from its scorched hull. Every system screamed in protest, but the crew was alive, barely. Inside, Ravi Chin crouched beside a console that looked more like a bonfire than an instrument panel. He gave it a kick. If this ship were a person, I'd recommend therapy. Captain Amina Soul's reply came crisp, clipped. If this ship were a person, it would court-martial you for sabotage. Ravi grinned through the soot. Then it'd have to stand in line. Zoe Vega, still strapped into her pilot chair, cracked an eye open. Next time we crash land, can we aim for somewhere less oceanic? You're welcome for saving your life, Amina said dryly. Zoe stretched, popping her shoulders. You did your part. I just flew an unshielded coffin into a light show. Same difference. Status report. Amina ordered. Ship's alive enough to complain about it. Ravi said, fingers flying across his jury-rig controls. We got partial power, no long-range comms, and an angry alien armada probably wondering why their target still has a pulse. Amina straightened. Then let's make them wonder harder. The crash turned the crew into instant legends. Footage of their fiery descent looped across every screen on Earth. News commentators called them heroes, lunatics, and once by a particularly enthusiastic anchor, proof that duct tape is a sacred artifact. The EDC scrambled to locate them. When the rescue sub breached the surface, Amina greeted it with the unshakable calm of someone who had already survived the worst. Next time, she told the rescue team, we bring better landing gear. 2 days later, in an orbital repair bay hovering above Earth, the Endeavour II floated half dismantled, surrounded by drones and technicians. Amina convened her officers in the observation room. Where the curve of the planet filled a glass wall behind her, we're re-establishing contact, she said. Ravi froze mid-sip of coffee. We're what? They opened communications once. That means they can do it again. We'll extend an invitation for dialogue. Zoe raised a brow. After they tried to vaporize us? Amina met her gaze. Precisely. If they expect fear, let's surprise them with civility. Dr. Mateo Alvarez appeared on the holo feed from Santiago, exhaustion etched under his eyes. I've recalibrated the translator. Fewer misinterpretations this time. No more we come with peace moments. Ravi groaned. That joke's never dying, is it? Not while I'm alive to tell it, Zoe said. Then I suppose I'll have to live with it. Amina muttered. When the Varn ambassador materialized aboard the Endeavour II, it was like standing inside a prism. The creature's translucent body refracted every beam of light into cascading spectrums. A ring of floating drones orbited its core, projecting waves of data that shimmered like heat haze. I am pre-March Volkett of the Varn Dominion, it intoned, the translator bending its voice into a metallic chorus. Your persistence is inefficient. Amina inclined her head. We call it determination. Semantics of lesser species, the Varn replied. You survived termination protocols. Explain this irregularity. Ravi whispered under his breath. Because we're too stubborn to die? Amina's glance shut him up. We wish to establish communication, not hostility. The Varn surface pulsed with cool blue light, a sign, Mateo's translation note suggested, of mild amusement. Primitive diplomacy. You lack centralized cognition. Your species functions in fragmentation. Zoe folded her arms. We call it democracy. Sometimes it even works. The aliens' drones rotated faster. Humor detected. Purpose unclear. It's how we stay sane, Ravi said. Sanity, Volkett echoed. An inefficient construct. Mateo's voice came through the comm line. Captain, the energy readings around its drones are spiking. I think this conversation's about to end. Amina drew herself up. Then I'll end it properly. She faced Varn. We are not your subjects. This world is under no dominion. Leave our orbit and there will be peace. The Varn's light dimmed to a predatory crimson. Refusal acknowledged. Assimilation will proceed. The drones flared and then vanished in a blinding flash. The blast crippled the Endeavour II instantly. Panels burst. The lights went out. Zoe wrestled the controls as the ship spun. They fried our stabilizers. Backup thrusters online, Ravi yelled, tearing open a floor hatch. Give me 30 seconds. You have 10, Amina said. He dove into the circuitry maze. Hands a blur. Sparks leapt. The smell of ozone filled the air, and he cursed in 3 languages. All right, new rule, Zoe shouted. No more diplomacy without helmets. Noted, Amina said. The ship leveled. Barely. Below, Earth's atmosphere shimmered like molten glass. Ravi, Amina said, get us power or get us prayers. He grunted. Why not both? Mateo's voice crackled through static. The Varn are deploying atmospheric drones. They're mapping cities, preparing a coordinated strike. Then Earth has minutes. Amina said, We need to warn them. Comms are toast, Ravi said. Unless, his eyes lit up, unless I hijack their signal. Amina frowned. Can you do that? Absolutely not, he said, grinning. But I'm going to try anyway. He rerouted the Varn's own transmission frequency through the Endeavour 2's fried comms, splicing human code into alien signal patterns. The interface screamed errors, but data started to flow. Zoe hovered nearby. You sure this won't, explode? Define explode, Ravi said, into plasma confetti. He considered. 50-50. Good odds, she said, fastening her harness. The ship trembled as Ravi overrode the alien encryption. On Earth, every screen flickered again, this time showing Amina Soul, calm amid chaos. This is Captain Soul of the Earth Defense Coalition, she said, voice unwavering. The Varn Dominion has declared war on our species, but they misunderstand what humanity is. Behind her, the hull shuddered. Sparks danced. We are not uniform, she continued. We argue. We improvise. We fail spectacularly. But when we stand together, no empire can calculate us. She cut the feed before the ship's systems collapsed entirely. Down on Earth, cities erupted into motion. Scientists repurposed energy grids into defense networks. Pilots scrambled experimental craft. Gamers turned drone operators logged in from basements. For the first time in history, humanity acted as one organism, chaotic, defiant, alive. Above them, the Endeavour 2 drifted powerless. Inside, Ravi lay slumped against the console, smoke curling from his sleeves. Well, he coughed, that could have gone worse. Zoe glanced out the viewport. The alien fleet glimmered in silent formation, each ship brighter than the last. You sure about that? Amina looked from her exhausted crew to the rising glow in the heavens. They think we're finished. She squared her shoulders. Let's prove them wrong. Ravi exhaled. You have a plan? Not yet, Amina said, but humanity always finds one. Outside, the first beams of alien light began to fall toward the planet, and Earth, unprepared and undaunted, rose to meet them and E for thumbnails about the story. The Varn bombardment began at dawn. Columns of light lanced through the atmosphere, carving scars across oceans and continents. Yet where the beam struck, something unexpected happened. They weakened. The aliens had calculated everything, mass, orbit, resistance, but not ingenuity. Within hours, humanity was fighting back, not with superior weapons, but with ideas. Inside a reinforced hangar beneath the Andes, Captain Amina's soul studied a holographic map, glowing in the dim light. Red marks dotted the sky, each one an alien cruiser. Blue marks, human countersignals, multiplied by the minute. Report, she said. Dr. Ravi Chin looked up from a tangle of cables and alien debris that once resembled a drone. His hair was standing on end, probably from static electricity, and definitely from exhaustion. Good news. I figured out how their shields work. Bad news. It involves quantum harmonics, 3 dead batteries, and a coffee pot. Zoe Vega grinned from her seat atop a half-built engine. So Tuesday again? Wednesday, Ravi corrected, which means we're doomed. Mateo Alvarez hunched over his frequency readings, rubbed his eyes. If I'm right, their technology relies on resonance patterns. They're efficient, but predictable. Humans are not. Amina's gaze sharpened. Meaning, Mateo said slowly, if we can replicate their harmonics and then distort them, infuse them with human irregularity, we might overload their systems. Like singing off-key into a crystal glass until it shatters. Zoe smirked. So we fight aliens with bad music? I've trained for this my whole life. Ravi groaned. We'll need a hybrid reactor to generate those frequencies. Their tech doesn't like ours. It's like trying to power a spaceship with a toaster. Amina folded her arms. Then make it work. He looked at her, half amused, half aghast. You know, when you say impossible things, you make them sound so reasonable. That's why you keep following me, she said. He grinned. That and the hazard pay. They call it Project Mosaic. a global effort to reverse engineer alien technology by any means necessary. Engineer, hackers, and physicists work side by side, their video feeds flickering in from bunkers, labs, and garages. Nations drop their flags and share blueprints. Every time Ravi uploaded a schematic, someone on the other side of the world improved it. Every time Zoe tested a flight pattern, civilian pilots copied her moves in drones. Humanity became a single, chaotic organism, a living experiment in adaptability. Half of these designs shouldn't function, Ravi muttered one night. We're breaking physics like it owes us money. Then physics should pay up, Amina said. Days blurred into nights. The alien bombardment slowed, confused by the constant human reinvention. Whenever the Varn adapted, humanity evolved faster. Mateo discovered that the alien power signatures weren't just mechanical, they were musical. Vibrations arranged in precise, harmonic progressions. They're conducting energy like a symphony, he explained, eyes wide. Each ship is an instrument. Ravi smirked. And we're about to remix their playlist. He built a resonance amplifier out of scavenged alien coils, steel piping, and, somehow, Zoe's old flight helmet. Don't ask, he said when Amina raised an eyebrow. It just works better when it's wearing a helmet. Their first test shook the ground. When Ravi activated the amplifier, the air vibrated with a deep, thrumming hum that made every metal surface sing. Blue light flared across the walls. Mateo's instruments went wild. It's working, he said, voice trembling. We're harmonizing their energy patterns. But the hum shifted into a shriek, the machinery sparking violently. We're overloading. Zoe slammed emergency cutoff. Smoke filled the hangar. When it cleared, Ravi was standing there, eyebrows singed but grinning. Okay, he said, coughing. We're close. Next time, I'll add more coffee. Amina exhaled, half in relief, half disbelief. You mean coolant? Semantics, he said. Outside, alien drones descended through the clouds, scouting for human strongholds. Amina ordered the hangar's defense systems to minimal power. They hid beneath mountains of rock and signal jammers. Zoe stared out a narrow viewport. They're searching for us. Amina joined her. Then we'll give them something to find. Mateo turned his chair. Captain, are you suggesting we attack? We've barely survived defending ourselves. Defense isn't survival, she said. It's stalling. If we want to live, we have to make them fear us. Zoe grinned. Finally, something fun. Over the next 48 hours, the team built the impossible. Ravi's hybrid reactor pulsed with unstable light. Mateo tuned the resonance fields to imperfect human rhythms, syncopated, messy, alive. Zoe modified her ship to handle the new power surge, naming it Patchwork 1. When she saw it for the first time, she whistled. She's ugly. She's humanity in a nutshell, Ravi said. Ugly, stubborn, and very likely to explode. Amina placed a hand on the hull. Then let's hope she explodes in the right direction. Launch day arrived under blood-orange skies. The Varn fleet hovered in low orbit, their crystalline hulls glittering like knives. Earth's defense grid flickered, half experimental, half improvised. Zoe sat in the cockpit, voice crackling through the comms. All systems probably functional. Reactors humming like a drunk bee. Keep it steady, Amina said. Ravi, status? Stable enough for government work. Mateo adjusted his instruments. Resonance alignment complete. She's ready to sing. Then let's make history, Amina said. Patchwork 1 shot skyward, its patched-together hull streaking through the clouds. Alien sensors locked on instantly. A swarm of drones descended. Captain, Zoe said, they're noticing me. Then make them dance. Zoe veered sharply, dodging plasma beams with inhuman reflexes. The ship's resonance amplifier pulsed life, releasing waves of harmonic distortion. Mateo's reading spiked. It's working. Their shields are destabilizing. Define destabilizing, Ravi said, fingers flying over controls. As if on cue, one of the alien drones imploded, scattering molten fragments through the sky. That'll do, Zoe said. The Varn fleet began to reorganize, their perfect symmetry fracturing. "They're adapting," Amina warned. "Then so will we," Ravi said, "pushing output by 20%. "Ravi," Matteo said, eyes wide, "that could rupture the reactor." "Could," Ravi replied, "or it could win us the war." Zoe whooped as the energy surged. The amplifiers screamed, but the alien formation shattered. Ships flickered, shields collapsing in cascades of light. Amina's voice cut through the static. "Zoe, disengage." "That's enough." Zoe hesitated. "Just a little longer." "Now!" She yanked the controls. Patchwork wound up toward the clouds as an alien cruiser exploded above, shards scattering like meteors. When she landed hours later, half the ship was slag. Ravi was already shouting something about how he'd told her not to overheat the coil, while Amina ignored him and pulled Zoe into a fierce, uncharacteristic hug. "You're reckless," Amina said. "You're welcome," Zoe replied, grinning through the soot. Matteo stared at the readouts. The resonance effects spread through their network. Their entire fleet is recalibrating. "We bought time, but not much. The war should have ended in hours." At least, that was what the Varn Dominion calculated. Their algorithms measured probability in absolutes. Their fleets were precise, their weapons flawless. They believed chaos could be predicted, controlled. They had never fought humans before. The Patchwork fleet rose from Earth's atmosphere like a storm of light and defiance. Hundreds of ships, some military, most improvised, surged skyward. Mining freighters retrofitted with resonance coils. Cargo haulers powered by stolen alien cores. Even a few orbital shuttles held together by hope and duct tape. At the command hub, Captain Amina So watched the launch from her viewport, jaw tight, eyes steady. "Transmit to all units," she ordered. "Formation mosaic is a go." Ravi Chen's fingers flew over the console. "Broadcasting now. Try not to get us vaporized in the first 5 minutes." "Then give me 6," Amina said. Zoe Vega's voice came crackling through comms, sharp and alive. "Patchwork 1 ready for round 2. Captain. Reactor stable, ego slightly less so." "Maintain that balance," Amina said. Matteo Alvarez stood beside her, translating energy signatures into real-time data. His hands trembled slightly as he watched the alien formation pulse with crimson light. "They're coordinating through a central core. If we disrupt that, we might end this before they adapt again. Or we all explode in glorious harmony," Ravi muttered. "Let's hope for harmony," Amina said. "Fire on my mark." The Varn fleet descended, fractal wings of light unfurling across the upper atmosphere. Each ship emitted a perfect tone, a mathematical chord of conquest. Then the humans answered. The Mosaic fleet fired not in unison, but in rhythm. Irregular, syncopated, messy. Their resonance amplifiers pulsed with human imperfection. Creativity made weapon. The result was chaos, and chaos was beautiful. Alien shields flickered. The mathematical harmony of the Dominion shattered under a storm of asymmetry. Zoe hooped as her fighters screamed through an enemy formation, trails of blue fire in her wake. "That's right, you glass peacocks. Try predicting this. Less celebrating, more not dying." Ravi barked through static. "I can multitask," she shot back. The battle raged for hours. For every alien cruiser destroyed, 2 more descended. Humanity fought not for domination, but for survival, and somehow that made them unstoppable. Amina coordinated strikes from the command ship Endeavour 2, patched and scarred but holding firm. "Zoe, fall back to Grid 7. Ravi, reroute power from non-essential systems." "Define non-essential," Ravi said. "Anything not keeping us alive." "So coffee machine?" "Especially the coffee machine." He groaned. "You're a monster." In orbit, the Varn flagship loomed, a prism the size of a mountain, glowing with blinding light. Matteo watched its reading spike. That's their control nexus. Every ship takes orders from that core. Amina leaned over his shoulder. "Can we reach it?" "Not without burning half the fleet," he said. "Then we'll burn the other half." Zoe's voice cut in. Permission to go hunting? Amina hesitated. You won't come back. Captain, Zoe said softly, you taught us that survival isn't enough. Let's live this victory. The line went silent. Then Amina whispered, permission granted. Patchwork 1 soared higher, its unstable reactor pulsing with stolen alien light. Zoe flew straight into the heart of the Varn formation, dodging plasma beams that tore the sky apart. Ravi tracked her progress from the command deck, muttering every curse he knew and a few he invented. Her ship can't handle this output, he shouted. Mateo's eyes stayed on the data feed. It doesn't have to. It just has to sing loud enough. Zoe locked onto the Varn flagship. Her controls vibrated violently. The resonance field screamed as frequencies collided. All right, she said, voice trembling but steady. Let's make some noise. She pushed the amplifier beyond its limit. Patchwork 1 unleashed a pulse of discordant sound, a chaotic, imperfect melody built from human emotion, grief, hope, anger, love. The Varn fleet convulsed. Their harmonic network shattered, signals scattering into incoherence. One by one, their ships fell silent, brilliance fading into darkness. Zoe's ship burned in the backlash, a falling star across the horizon. Her last transmission came through static, laughter echoing beneath the noise. Told you, I could multitask. Silence followed. Then Mateo whispered, it's over. Their frequencies collapsed. They're retreating. Amina stood motionless, staring at the stars. The once flawless formation of the Varn Dominion fractured, its ships vanishing into warped shadows like broken glass swept from the sky. Ravi exhaled, slumping back. She did it. Crazy, beautiful idiot. Amina closed her eyes briefly. Heroes often are. Weeks passed. The war was declared over. The Varn had vanished beyond known space. Their communications fractured, their empire humiliated. Humanity rebuilt, not the same, but stronger. The Earth Defense Coalition became the Terran Coalition, uniting nations that had never shared more than suspicion. Ravi oversaw the construction of the new endeavor, a ship built entirely from the designs born of Project Mosaic. Its motto, etched on the hull, we learn, we endure, we rise. Mateo led the first diplomatic expedition to the Galactic Council, carrying the resonance data and a violin. When questioned about humanity's weaponization of chaos, he simply said, we didn't weaponize it. We embraced it. Years later, Amina stood in the same observation deck where it all began, Earth turning slowly beneath her. Ravi entered quietly, holding 2 cups of coffee. Still rationing the good stuff? She asked. Always, he said, handing her one. Can't let the galaxy think we've gone soft. She smiled faintly. They already think we're mad. Madness is just creativity with better marketing. They watched a new generation of ships launch from orbit, sleek, vibrant, imperfect. She'd have liked to see this, Ravi said. She does, Amina replied. Every time we fly, beyond the solar system, the message spread. The Galactic Archives record the event as a catastrophic miscalculation, the moment an ancient empire misjudged a fledgling world. Other civilizations whisper to the humans, bipeds who built beauty from wreckage, who turned chaos into art, who fought the universe not with perfection but improvisation. And somewhere among the stars, the Varn rebuilt, haunted by the echo of that impossible melody, a discordant human song that refused to die. Amina's final transmission went out to the galaxy, calm and clear. To those who watch and wonder who we are not the strongest, we are not the oldest, but we adapt, we imagine, we endure. You may call us unpredictable, reckless, even irrational. That's fine. Just remember, when you threaten Earth, you invite chaos itself to dinner. She ended the broadcast, turned to the viewport, and smiled as the first light of dawn crept over the planet. The sky blinked once more, this time not in fear, but in reflection. They had come to conquer humanity. They had created something far greater instead.